rumble of the discourse. We've taken an abandoned concrete factory at the margins of the declining American empire and repurposed it into a battleground where 19 separate entities from across the political spectrum enter the discourse one by one and do battle to determine who controls the narrative force of the discourse. I hope you'll join me, your Southern Gothic futurist host Dirk God Raven Mac, for each and every episode of Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. Hey, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Dirk God Raven Mac. We are here with week 6 of the spring 2026 Monday Night Rumble of the Discourse. We have had for 5 weeks 27 competitors coming in. One comes in every minute, 2 in the beginning, and they've been accumulating points. You can see right here they get a point for eliminating somebody and bonus points for those final 4 spots. But this is week 6. So for 5 weeks, they've been accumulating points. Tonight, we've got people that have scored points that will be trying to make it in next week's finale. And in fact, let's just go ahead and look at the standings. Right now, you can see Zohran Mamdani and Gavin Newsom at the top, Elon Musk in second, the Ice Goon, Luigi's up there. This President Trump in the mix there, but he's kind of down that leaderboard. We're not going to see any of these folks tonight because all of our competitors tonight are coming from this second screen, and I believe Bob, my producer Bob Dabalina, what was it? 1 through 4. So everybody coming out tonight is in this 1 through 4 point range. They're going to be trying to accumulate points to be in the top 27 point getters, because next week in our finale, we're going to have top 27 point getters come out in reverse order and try to be crowned the champion of the discourse for this season, and then we will be done for the spring 2026 season. We made it through. Our primary sponsorship tonight, we don't have anybody who gave financial sponsorship, so we have a metaphysical sponsorship, and that sponsorship is VPN PDFs. VPN PDFs, and also using VPN for when you're looking for certain books. I would look for print materials for this upcoming period of time where people are going to be trying to find recipes, if you will, ways to have a bang, cause some explosions of progress. And I would suggest print versions. Do not trust the digital environment. Get yourself print versions, and if you have to find PDFs, make sure you're using a secure VPN to sort of launder your digital fingerprint, so to speak, if you know what I mean. So that's our sponsor tonight. I guess we should go ahead. Yeah, I know, Bob. I guess we should go on up to the ring and let's discourse, motherfuckers. So our referees tonight, as has been the case for most of this season, the lady cop and the police state, and we're going to have 27 people who have gotten points come out. And the first one is Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War. Of course, they have shown what white supremacy actually means. In fact, he just today, refused promotion of women and minorities in the Navy. But of course, they've blown through that whole budget in Iran already. They've run out of things that we can't even recreate anytime soon, which I'm not a pro-war person, but it seems kind of dumb to burn through everything you have. And coming out to face him is going to be Graham Plattner, also in the news. A story came out from his wife from years ago where he was sexting a whole bunch of ass women, like not even one. It was like half a dozen women this fool was sexting with, and he's just generally been a complete piece of shit for most all of his life. And somehow as the Senate candidate from the Democrats and supposed to be a step in a better direction to supporting working class people, because, well, you can see he's wearing an LL Bean flannel shirt and he's got a beard. But he's not actual working class. He's from a wealthy family. Cosplaying, so to speak. But you know what? Democratic Party is not about actual performance, all about appearance. So, we got 2 parties that support the establishment. Neither one supports the people, and it's just a matter how you want the establishment to be. Do you want the establishment to be a fascist authoritarian thing, or do you want it to be something that is just kindly authoritarian? Well, Pete Hegseth and Plattner going at it, and we got a buzzer to come out and join this melee. Is going to be Laura Loomer. Online presence, Laura Loomer. I'm not even quite sure what she's done to be relevant to the discourse other than be extremely online, but here she is. She is extremely online and extremely got to hear Trump a lot of times and Now she's in there with Pete Hegseth and Graham Plattner. Hiding out in the corner, comes off and misses. So these 27 folks are all in that 1 through 4 point range. They will be trying to accumulate some extra points tonight. Of course, these people got the bad luck draw at the beginning, so they're a long ways away from those final 4 spots with those bonus points. You can see we got a couple ladders in there. They represent the meritocracy myth of America, that you can be whatever you want if you work hard. Coming out now, Carolyn Levitt, White House head of propaganda. And she's going after Loomer Hegseth over the top rope, but he didn't go to the floor, so he's still in there. Plattner just nailed Loomer and then nails Levitt, so I guess neither one of these are women he's sexed with because he's beating on them both. I guess that's what we'll say to Plattner's credit. We haven't had it come out that he is abusive to his wife necessarily. So I guess that's the bar we're looking to clear nowadays for Senate candidates, is they do not actively commit violence on their partners. And coming out to join these 4, as the police state climbs that ladder, John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, Supreme Court. Of course, story came out over the weekend where he had some undeclared income or misdeclared or something. Basically, he is getting paid off of cases that he was adjudicating. Is that the word, Bob? Adjudicating? That seems like a whole lot more syllables than I normally use. Okay. Pete Hegseth in there, pinned by Graham Plattner. So Hegseth, Secretary of War, alpha male, going to be a beta there to Graham Plattner. And there's a pin on Plattner by Levitt, but Plattner kicks out. Roberts swinging that chair on Levitt. And we're about to get another buzzer, so we'll see who comes out now. And joining the mix is going to be Hassan Piker. I guess he got denied entry with his uncle to the UK recently. 2 leftists. Plattner over the top rope, but he's not out. And look, man, I'm going to be honest with you guys about Hassan Piker and really just about everybody. I am not going to learn about streamers. I do not need to learn about streamers, nor do I want to learn about streamers. You know what, man? If we are entering an era of streamer influencers, then we are entering an era of Dirt God not knowing who the fuck you're talking about. But Hassan Piker is in there. Big pin on Laura Loomer. Bridge suplex by John Roberts. Nice move there by the Supreme Court Justice. And he picks up one of those briefcases full of secret dark money. And here comes Cash Patel. I am sure Cash Patel is one of the few people hyped for this UFC on the lawn. Men fighting in the front yard. And you know what? Many people would be tempted to make a white trash joke about people fighting in the front yard, but me being my heritage, being white trash, I'm not going to make that classist joke and remind you that Donald Trump's actually a very wealthy man. So this is more the spectacle of wealthy folks wanting to have poor human cockfighters bludgeon each other for their entertainment. Anyways, Loomer swinging a chair in there. Levitt and John Roberts going at it. Hassan Piker's in there. Cash Patel. And Patel is staggering over the corner and falls over the top rope and out. Cash Patel is already gone as Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson comes out and enters the ring. So goodbye, Cash. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, in it. Laura Loomer tossed over on the far side by Hassan Piker. So she is gone. Carolyn Levitt still in there. Graham Plattner still struggling. John Roberts on top of one of those ladders right now. Mike Johnson locking up with Carolyn Levitt, who does a little dance and then starts punching Hassan Piker. Plattner backing away from everybody, biding his time. Police state sort of forces him back into the action. Hassan Piker beating on John Roberts and comes off the top rope and nails John Roberts with a devastating move as we have Jasmine Crockett come out. Of course, Jasmine Crockett mentioned this past week, and Stephen Miller, the chief of hobbitry at the White House, chief of evil hobbitry, saying that Senate candidate James Tallarico had less testosterone than Jasmine Crockett, and kind of funny to think of that little. And John Roberts pins Carolyn Levitt, so she's gone. That little troll hobbit Stephen Miller trying to talk about anybody else's testosterone. Jasmine Crockett locking up with Hassan Piker. Johnson got a 2 count on Plattner, and coming out is Jerry Mander. Of course, this has been all the rage of the discourse this entire season with the referendum vote in Virginia. And there's a pin, just a 2 count with the referendum vote in Virginia, the Supreme Court decision striking down the Voting Rights Act, which has allowed all the Deep South to decide they're going to disenfranchise black majority districts as much as possible. Gerrymander, big piece of the discourse, and he's out there in the Rumble tonight. And there's a pin. Plattner gets a 1 count on Mike Johnson. And Plattner over the top rope. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Hassan Piker, and they're going at it. Gerrymander working on Jasmine Crockett. And coming out now, the third-party communists. So the third-party communists coming out. We're getting closer to the midterm, so it won't be long when those 2 establishment parties will start to tell you that voting for a third party wastes your vote. That you should only vote for one of the 2. And I actually look forward to 2028 when we only have one party, and they will tell you you're wasting your vote for voting for the second party. That's going to be a lot of fun when we get to that point. And stop pretending. And voter turnout is like 12%. Graham Plattner tossed on the far side. Jasmine Crockett tossed on the other side. So we had 2 quick eliminations. I was busy complaining about people who complain about third-party voting. I wasn't paying attention. Mike Johnson tossed as well. So we had a string of eliminations. We're down to 4 folks in there. I'll recap them as we see who comes out to join them. And it's Melania Trump. So Melania Trump making her entrance back into the Rumble. She was out here for our all-women's Rumble a few weeks ago. And she joined Supreme Court Justice John Roberts is still out there. Hassan Piker still out there. Gerrymander and that third-party communist. And Gerrymander eliminating that third-party communist over there. Melania with a pin on John Roberts. He kicks out at 2. Melania and third-party communists briefly locked up, and they're batted again. Third-party commie giving her some blows to the face. They're going after Hassan Piker. He's not leftist enough for the third-party communists. You know that. And coming to join them is Barron Trump. So Barron Trump, the youngest and evilest of Trump's sons, coming out. He's like Super Trump. Steeped in that. Can you imagine being a teenager and looking up porn in the White House? What a weird existence that kid has had. And he's not a kid anymore. He's a young adult. And he's a complete and total bastard from all accounts. But he's in there with his mom. That's interesting. I don't think we've had a mother and son in the Rumble of the Discourse at the same time. So this is the first. Hassan Piker rolling over that third-party commie. Only gets a 2 count. And then a roll-up pin on Piker. So that third-party commie and Hassan Piker have it out for each other. And coming out now is Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. One of the most cavalier people gung-ho for this war on Iran to continue, which, despite it having ended and been won 3 or 4 times already, is ongoing. And Melania eliminates Hassan Piker. So I hate to give Melania points, but she eliminated the streamer influencer, which I have to say I appreciate. So we got Barron and Melania Trump, Gerrymander, John Roberts is still out there, that third-party communist, and Senator Ted Cruz. Again, we have 27 folks coming out tonight. All these people have gotten points in our first 5 weeks, and they're going to be trying to get more points. And here comes Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's leather pants. Well, John Roberts just eliminated Melania Trump, so Melania is gone. And then there is a pin, and Gerrymander pinned in there. I couldn't see who was doing it. I'll be honest, I was looking at Erica Kirk's pleather pants, but Erica Kirk, the pleather pantsed widow of Charlie Kirk, is out there now and joins John Roberts, the third-party communist. Barron Trump's still out there, and Ted Cruz, who's bloodied in the far corner. You see, he's already been bloodied open by the discourse. Looks like that third-party communist has been busted open too. And bad news for the Proud Boy. We just got news that Trump was abandoning that $1.776 billion weaponization fund to support his sycophantic, loyal, brown shirt jackasses. Proud Boy locked up with gerrymander in the aisle, not making his way to the ring. So the Proud Boy is going to lose out on that weaponization fund. Although don't worry, rich folks are funneling money to these shadow groups anyways. And he got off. He already got pardoned for his J6 convention, so the Proud Boy's not going to have any complaints about Trump, I don't think. And that third-party commie came way off the top rope and nailed the Proud Boy, but then gets kicked by Carolyn Levitt, only a 2 count. And coming out to join him is the Maha Boomer. She is the daughter of the witches you couldn't give autism with a vaccine. She is out here doing her thing somehow between the course of Obama and the second Trump presidency. Has gone from type of progressive person who posted about Ferguson and Black Lives Matter and Standing Rock, and now she is on the Make America Healthy Again algorithm and somehow thinks Trump is a savior. Bizarre, man. Bizarre. It is so weird to see all the people that you lose over the years. Like, feature, you think back the past decade of your life and people that you've lost to the algorithm. John Roberts eliminated. People we've lost to the algorithm that are still alive, but for all intents and purposes have blank eyes and are dead to us. And here comes the Antifa wine mom. She is out there and she is trying to fight John Roberts in the aisle. Hadn't even come in the ring and given John Roberts the business. This Antifa wine mom. So she's in there. She's not wearing her whistle tonight, so we're not doing an ice watch tonight. Be aware they're still there. Barron Trump eliminated by... I didn't see who eliminated him. Was that... I think Ted Cruz eliminated Barron Trump. That's not going to go over well in the White House. So Barron Trump eliminated. Proud Boys twisting an ankle lock on Erica Kirk. And Antifa wine mom pins that third-party commie as the 3%er comes out in the same boat as the Proud Boy. In fact, the 3%er is just a different flavor of the Proud Boy. And here comes that 3%er, of course. It's eventually going to stand for the fact that only 3% of alleged self-identifying alpha male men will still want Donald Trump's dick in their mouth. Erica Kirk immediately pinned by that 3%er. No room for women in the alpha male discourse. Antifa wine mom with a superplex off the top rope on the Proud Boy. And Ted Cruz going after that 3%er. Proud Boy accidentally kicked the police there, maybe on purpose, and then kicked Ted Cruz as well. And coming to join his fellow Senator Ted Cruz is John Fetterman. John Fetterman, that Zionist clone that was unleashed after the stroke early on that Fetterman had. And that's not true. There's no clone. This is not a different Fetterman. This is the same one. You're talking about a guy who was executive of a non-profit arts group that did street murals to gentrify Braddock, Pennsylvania, and any non-profit executive director gentrifying a dead industrial town with street mural festivals is going to end up just like John Fetterman, to be honest. Give these people microbreweries to occupy their time so they don't go into politics. That is really the only positive thing I can say for microbreweries. And the Antifa wine mom eliminates Ted Cruz as the Pope comes out. So the Pope comes out. Now again, our Rumble or Discourse tends to be U.S.-centric. We keep it U.S.-centric because, honestly, it's hard enough following the American discourse. I cannot follow the whole world. But the Pope, he's from the south side of Chicago. He had that big encyclical against AI come out last week, and he has been a thorn in the side of the Trump administration and J.D. Vance's little trad cosplay Catholicism. And Fetterman, big old Fetterman, eliminates the Proud Boy. So when you have a racially based white nationalist going up against a Zionist gentrifier, I guess the Zionist gentrifier is the lesser of two evils. And here comes that OG Black Panther. She was out in our women's event and competed in another one as well. I got to tell you, the most fun person to talk to backstage beforehand. We were talking about bell hooks beforehand, and The Will to Change is a book that's meant a lot to me. And I think the OG Panther is the first one who even knew what the fuck that book was when I was talking about it backstage. Not that I go talking to everybody about bell hooks. You kind of recognize who might know who bell hooks is, but she's the first one that I thought might, who actually did. So I'm pulling for her. She's a nice woman. But she is out there. I don't know how many people we have left. I think we have 5 or 6 folks left to come out. We got 6 folks in there and coming to join them in the discourse. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's chief victim / abuser. Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, questions coming out about how she got moved into a cushier place and they're just biding their time until the eyes are off of it and they can release her. It doesn't really matter. That story's not coming out. Like, Epstein was already suicided in jail. Questionable videotape of the thing. And look at that. Fetterman eliminates the 3%er as well. So Fetterman took out the duo of the Proud Boy and the 3%er, living up to the potential that some folks thought he might have had when he was first elected. Lady Cop has climbed 2 ladders on top of each other and then jumps down. Ghislaine Maxwell has that Antifa wine mom in a hole. The Pope going for a pin on Carolyn Levitt only gets a 2 count. And coming out now is the AI girlfriend. So AI girlfriend coming out. I saw her backstage. She drank about 35 gallons of water. Just over 2 prompts. The AI girlfriend. 2 prompts. 35 gallons of water down the drain. Now, the water tank was kind of low here at our abandoned concrete factory at the edge of town. Antifa wine mom gets a pin on John Fetterman. So John Fetterman took out the Proud Boy and the 3%er, but he could not take out the Antifa wine mom. It gives you a little hierarchy of toughness right there. So we've got that Maha Boomer, Antifa wine mom, OG Panther, Ghislaine Maxwell, AI girlfriend, and the Pope. So we have 5 women and the Pope in there right now. So good showing by women. And here we're going to ruin it with the random shooter. The random shooter coming out. Random shooter is about 101.7% of the time going to be a man. Random shooter comes out. And I do want to remind you that the random shooter can always have a good effect on the discourse. Charlie Kirk was a good example of that. It's been surprising we haven't had more incidences since then other than a couple fake bum rushes for Trump. Or weak. Maybe not fake, but weak. Poor attempts at the random shooter. It doesn't take a lot of effort to be a good random shooter, but you got to be dedicated to the gimmick. You can't just half-ass it. And the random shooter tried to roll up the Pope. Those two were going at it last week when they were both out here. Ghislaine Maxwell rolls up the Pope. And then the Pope kicks her over the top rope and punches her. So the Pope eliminates Ghislaine Maxwell, despite the Catholic Church's history, decides not to side with the pedophile. And coming out our next to last entrance tonight is the Immigrant. Immigrant is joining the field. So we've got, what's the count here? I think we got 6, 7 people out there now with the Immigrant. Of course, our final 4 will get bonus points. The Immigrant pinning that AI girlfriend, only a 1 count. And then going for a pin there on the OG Black Panther, only a 2 count. Random shooter beating on the Antifa wine mom. Panther just dropped the AI girlfriend, and the Immigrant going for the pin after that drop and gets it. So even though the Immigrant gets the point for the elimination, the OG Panther did the move that got it. So that's one of the drawbacks of our system here is person who does the move doesn't always get the win. And coming out last, speaking of always getting the win, is thinly veiled racism. And there's a 3 count. The OG Black Panther pin, I didn't see. It was maybe the immigrant again, as thinly veiled racism came out. So we've got 6 folks left. That Maha Boomer, is she still out there? I don't see her. Yeah, she's still out there. Antifa Wine Mom, the Pope, the Random Shooter, the Immigrant, and Thinly Veiled Racism are our final 6. And they'll be going for the bonus points. Thinly Veiled Racism just tossed that Maha Boomer, and then the Random Shooter suplexes her onto her face. And now Thinly Veiled Racism going for the pin and eliminates that Maha Boomer. So Thinly Veiled Racism made the Maha Boomer obsolete. And the Pope just sidewalk slammed the Random Shooter, only got a 1 count. So these are our final 5 out there still. Antifa Wine Mom, the Pope, the Random Shooter, the Immigrant, and Thinly Veiled Racism going for those bonus points. Oh man, Thinly Veiled Racism just nailed the Immigrant. But the Immigrant's right on them. And they're on the top rope, and the Immigrant flips the Thinly Veiled Racism out, and the Random Shooter got pinned by the Pope. So Thinly Veiled Racism tossed by the Immigrant, and the Random Shooter just barely got that 3 bonus points by outlasting Thinly Veiled Racism, but he is pinned by the Pope. So our final 3 are the Antifa Wine Mama, surprising showing by her, the Immigrant, and the Pope. Now you got to think the Immigrant, with his Catholic background growing up, he's going to have some difficulty facing the Pope. Well, no, he's going right after him. The Pope drops to wash his feet. Oh man, drop kick by the Immigrant to the Pope's face. Antifa Wine Mom beating on the Pope. She's agnostic. And Pope going for a pin on Antifa Wine Mom. That's 2, and that's 3. No, kick out. 2.5 kick out. And now the Immigrant and Antifa Wine Mom both beating on the Pope. And they pick up the Pope. Going for another pin after he drops on that ladder, and that is an elimination. The Pope is eliminated. So we are down to 2 here in our next to last week. And then the Immigrant is down, and Antifa Wine Mom gets a 2, and there's a strange bridge attempt, and the Pope's getting involved in things still. The Pope rolls up that Antifa Wine Mom, has armbar briefly, and he's already been eliminated. The Immigrant thrown into one of those meritocracy myth ladders. Mule kick to the Antifa Wine Mom's face. So these are our final 2. Now the Immigrant going up that ladder. He's climbing that meritocracy myth, and the Antifa Wine Mom kicks him off with a drop kick. The Immigrant is eliminated. Antifa Wine Mom upset victor here in week 6. Man, oh man, I did not see that one coming. Let's go to this replay. You can see that meritocracy myth ladder is there. The Immigrant is starting to climb it, looking to do some sort of move. Always a dangerous move in the Rumble. And then Antifa Wine Mom drop kicks him as he's struggling to get up that ladder and eliminates this Immigrant, the Immigrant, from the Rumble. Let's look at tonight's results. You can see that Antifa Wine Mom got 13 points tonight. The Immigrant got 11. The Pope was 7 because he got those, 5 bonus points. John Roberts and the Random Shooter both had 3. Hassan Piker, Baron Trump, and John Fetterman each eliminated 2. And then you have Graham Plattner, Mike Johnson, Melania Trump, Proud Boy, Gerrymander, Maha Boomer, 3%er, Thinly Veiled Racism. They all got 1 point, but the big deal is our standings. This is going to be the folks coming out last next week. Our last 2 contestants are going to be Gavin Newsom and Zohran Mamdani because they're at the top of the leaderboard. Elon Musk. Antifa Wine Mom gets way up the list. The Ice Goon, Sarah McBride, Luigi Mangione, the Immigrant. The Immigrant moved way up. No King's Liberal, Bari Weiss, CBS, course, in the news as always. Donald Trump, way down. He's going to be coming out early in the Rumble. Not too early, in the last third probably, but still early. Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, the Pope moved up some, the Free Thinker. Let's look at this second page. I'm not sure where the cutoff is for next week. What is it, Bob? 4? So we're going to 4-point. We'll have a couple 4-point people. We'll make the Rumble. You can see J.D. Vance, the immigrant, the lady immigrant, Reply Guy, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger. All these folks 5 and above will be in there, and a couple 4-pointers will be in there as well. All those names 3 down: Ted Cruz, Mike Johnson, Graham Plattner, Chuck Schumer, Kash Patel, Marco Rubio. You won't see them in next week's finale, so they're not going to be the champion of the Discourse for this season. So that's how this works, folks. Next week's going to be the end of our spring 2026 season. I can't tell you how a joy that always is, because it means Monday nights I don't have to come here and do this. And it also means the week in advance I don't have to pay attention to the Discourse. Love to tune it out. Love to not pay attention. You do not have to be informed. In fact, you could just watch this to be informed enough, to be honest. Anyways, as always, this is supported by my Southern Gothic Futurist Patreon. Patreon is where you commit a monthly amount to support some creative person, I guess. I guess I'm creative. I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot. You support the person and all the endeavors they do, and this is only one of many endeavors I do with my Southern Gothic Futurist Patreon. Southern Gothic Futurism is about what we do after the end times. So right now we're enjoying the build up to the end times with these Monday Night Rumbles of the Discourses. We'll eventually get to the end times, and after the end times, because the end times don't mean everything stops. It just means those who have the most investment lose their investment. What do we do after the end times? We'll figure it out. I have a feeling it's probably going to be better. Might be painful getting there, but we're going to have some fun afterwards. I'm hoping for a good fish fry myself. Anyways, this is your boy Dirt God. I am out of here until next week. Signing off from myself, my producer Bob Dabalina, and all the Rumble Maniacs out there. I appreciate you. Until next week for our grand finale for this season, Salam.